I'm going to go over memory hacks today, things that will help you remember better, tricks, tips, and everything that will help you because I don't want you to get in the same situation that I am in right now. The first tip is use keywords. And keyword is a word that reminds you of person, place, thing, activity, whatever you're trying to remember. And if you go to like a website and you're trying to put in a password or remember your password, they're going to give you a password hint. If they give us a password hint, when you forget your password, we're going to give that password hint back to you, and it should remind you of your password. That is a keyword. Or if you're going to watch a movie and someone asks you, hey, what movie did we watch in this day, this year, whatever? It was our favorite one, and you just draw a blank. You're just like, I don't know. And say it had so and so in it, and you're like, oh, I remember. It was that movie, and so that is a key word. You couldn't remember the movie, but that word right there, that name, sparked the memory of that movie, which is great, right? Because you might just be like, I don't remember at all. I don't know, trying to figure it out. And then someone says it, or you have written it down somewhere, and you're like, I don't remember, but if I go here and look and see the word, I know that I'll remember what information I was trying to remember. Another tip is to get you something to write with and also get you something to put whatever you're trying to remember down on. And the reason is because you're trying to remember maybe four or five things, six things, seven things, maybe just three things, and you're trying to remember them all at once and trying to work with them and then try to figure out what you need to do with them. And this is all in the process that you're trying to take information in. And so all you have to do, instead of remembering those five or six or three things or four things or even two things, you're trying to get it down to remember one at a time. Like use a notebook if you want to, but I like sketch pads and sketch books. And I want to tell you why. Because of the fact there's no lines on the paper. And that is a great tool for me because I want to be creative. I want to have creative freedom. And yeah, you can have creative freedom on line paper, but it just feels more free to me. It feels like, okay, there's no rules, no lines here. I can be more free creatively on this type of paper. And generally, it's a nicer type of paper as well when you have sketch pads. Another great thing to do is called chunking. I'm not talking about chocolate chunk cookies. This is a method to remember things better. And what you do is you break things down into smaller sections. And then you remember those smaller sections and you bring them together to give you the whole picture. This is great for remembering phone numbers. This is how you remember phone numbers. When somebody gives you your phone number, they say, hey, this is my phone number. Let me give it to you. And you say, what are the first three digits? And then what are the next three digits? And then what are the next four digits? And you remember all those as you write them down. And then eventually, when you look at them, you say, okay, I've got the whole number and I understand what the whole number is. And you read it out, it says 555 777 93 11. Anyway, bad song reference. But the point is this is that you use this method to remember things better because you're not trying to remember the whole thing. You're remembering different sections, and those different sections come together to give you the whole picture. Now, a trick to recall things is think about the music that was going on, if there was at the time of whatever you were doing, hanging out with a person, going to a place, whatever. Because if you think about music, because music brings forth emotions and establishes an emotional connection. And when you have an emotional connection to something, we generally remember it better. And so if you want to remember that date that you had with your wife or husband or whatever in 1952 and they're asking you and you don't remember at the time, you're like, well, I don't know what the time was. And they say, hey, don't you remember that song was playing in the background, like Cool in the Gang, Celebration in the background? And you say, oh, yeah, I remember that now. I remember the exact date, what you're wearing, and everything. And so that is what I mean. Music will help you establish that emotional connection and will help bring back those memories, help visualize things. And so if you want to remember something and you can remember the music that was playing, then you may be able to recall to your memory exactly what you were trying to recall at the time. Another great way to remember things is called connection. What connection is taking things that are not exactly the same as what you want to remember, but remind you of the things that you need to remember. Say you want to go to the grocery store and you have a grocery list, and it's milk, butter, eggs, broccoli. Now, it's easy to remember broccoli because it is unrelated to everything else. Easy to remember. Milk, you're going to think of a cow, okay? So instead of thinking milk, think of a cow. The cow brings into your memory of milk. Once you get the memory of milk, then you go from milk and you're going to say, okay, milk, dairy, butter. So then that's going to bring in your memory to butter. Now you get to the point to where you say eggs. And so instead of thinking of eggs, you think of chicken, and that takes you into the memory of eggs. And so as you go through the grocery store, then you're thinking about these different things, and that's helping you to remember what's on your grocery list. You're taking things that will connect you to what you want to recall. Another great memory trick is going to be visualization. What visualization is that you're trying to remember all the things about your environment, where you were, what you were doing at a time. You're trying to just sit back and think about all that and remember it. And hopefully those different things can help you remember what you're trying to remember. Like, say you lost your keys or your phone or your wallet or all three, basically, who knows? But anyway, the point is you've lost these things and you don't know where they are. So you try to visualize, what was the last thing I was doing? Where was I at? What happened? Where did I put it down? I know I was doing this at the time. I know I was here and these things were going off and the birds were going off and all these different things that you're trying to think about. You try to get back to where you put your keys, your wallet, your phone, or all three, right? They may be all in different places and you may have to visualize three different times to figure out where they are. But it's great because it helps you remember back to things that were memorable about that time, and then you can retrace your steps to find the item or trace the memory back to recall the item that you want to remember. And this last one's kind of a bonus thing. It's more of a time measurement, time awareness kind of thing. Get yourself a big clock. And what I mean by that, you want a clock that you can see across the room. Like, I have a big clock, as you can see here, and I can see this thing across the room. If I am somewhere and look across the room, I can definitely see the time. And yeah, this is a clock, I think, for older people with Alzheimer's patients and all that kind of stuff, but it's big enough for me to see across the room, because if I don't see the clock, if I don't see the numbers, I am not aware of the time a lot of times. And so with ADHD, you might not be aware of the time either. So you get yourself a big clock that you just put somewhere where you know that if you look across the room, you can see it, and that you need to look over at it and check it occasionally. But you want to make sure that it is all within your vision all the time, so you don't have to move or get up to go look at the time, right? It just should be in your field of view so you can be aware of the time and manage time better. What do you think about these memory hacks and memory tips? Are they good? Do you like them? Are you using them? Do you have your own? I'd like to hear about all of that in the comments. Also, if you'd like to learn about how to defeat the laundry battle, you can see that video right here and go click that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful and a great day. I'll talk to you later.
You just seen an episode of the Reward Fitness Podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, whether you're on YouTube or a podcast app. I appreciate you. Go and click the subscribe button for me. Also, you can find this podcast on any digital platform. If you're on YouTube, go and leave a like and a comment as well. I thank you again. Have a great day.